everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I want to tell you something very important, so I need you to listen. Do you want to be rich? I'm sure everyone wants to be rich. Now you need to say no to side hustle. I'm sure someone out there will be saying, what's she talking about? I'm going to tell you how and why. How you'll be rich and why you should say no to side hustle. That's today's video. Why will you say no to side hustle? I will categorize side hustle to include multiple jobs. Many of us, when we come to abroad, when we come to the US, Canada, UK, one of the first things we do is begin to hustle on many jobs. Yes, I did that, but I learned that that's not the way to go. And the moment I learned that, I found the way to riches, and I will share how you will be rich. But before I do that, I want to tell you why side hustles are not the best for you. 2, I will also be able to give you some live personal experiences to why you shouldn't go that way. When you have so many things doing, too many jobs. I remember a friend of mine told me back then in Nigeria that the day she get to America or US or Canada or UK, that she's going to be working for 25 hours a day. You and I know that there is no 25 hours a day, but that is to see that she will work round and round the clock. One thing is that you're going to have burnout. Guys, burnout kills. I have seen people drop dead in Canada because they are working round the clock. People have accidents because they are sleeping on the steering wheel. I have also seen people drop the quality of work that they're able to do because they're working round the clock. So I need you to listen up and know that those extra work does not mean well for you. Now, when you have too many jobs, you don't pay attention to details anymore. The quality of work you're able to do will keep dropping. And the quality of your life will as well continue to drop. Your mental capacity is nothing to write home about. You rarely have time to be able to think on your feet, and you rarely have time to innovate. Remember, if you're busy just jumping from job to job, you're probably earning some money, little money here and there to solve your problem, but you're not gonna build wealth because all you do is pursuing little money. Again, remember, you're just making money for tax, IRS, or the tax system, depending on where you are. You're really making money for them. No wonder so many Canadians, so many Americans will tell you that I can't do more than 40 hours a week. And actually, their full-time hours start from 32 hours to 40 hours a week. So many don't want to do that. Now, when you're working round the clock, you're not able to think. You can't innovate. And we need lots of innovators to be able to move the world around. Again, when you work all the hours, remember, there is an age you'll get to. You won't be able to do those jobs anymore. However, if you're able to build business of your own, no matter your age, your business will continue to yield you money. So, I want to tell you what you need to do. Apart from several degree programs that I have, the one that I want to talk about is my MBA, which prepared me so much through the path of growing wealth. It gave me opportunity to analyze several businesses as part of the program. Several case studies, including, studying businesses like Walmart, even BlackBerry, and how it failed, and so on. And so it prepared me to be able to analyze my journey so far and why I need to stop running from pillar to post in chase of money, but begin to innovate. The first thing you need to do is to identify the problem you want to solve. It may be small, but you need to identify that problem. Funnily, it's easy to identify little problem in everyone's day-to-day life that you need to solve. Yes, and you'll be shocked how the little problem you're able to identify can solve a whole lot of problems. You need to locate that on top part of the the sector that you belong in and begin to block it. Now, let me again talk about how I have evolved over the years. First, I graduated as a pharmacist, and you wonder how a pharmacist then eventually ventured into doing an MBA. I graduated as a pharmacist. I ventured into public health practice. I also had a course in mental and psychiatric health because I was trying to understand the problems of life. And eventually, I went off to do an MBA to understand, to be able to tie, the business angle. In fact, my statement of purpose in the MBA was trying to understand why people start businesses and close within a short time. I'm still on that journey because the MBA opened my eyes to so many things. So first, you identify the problem you want to solve. What is that problem? It may be very small. And I can use an example of wristwatch. Wristwatch used to be simply used for checking of time, timekeeping. But you and I know that wristwatch has evolved over the years. Right now, wristwatch is no longer just for timing. Wristwatch is also used to monitor your health. Yes. Wristwatch tells you your blood pressure, your BMI, and so many health indicators. Wristwatch has also become something you use to make calls. These are people identifying the small thing that wristwatch can do, and over time has continued to evolve and improve on it. Right now, I'm sure that there are still a lot of innovation going in that area. So identify that small piece and see how you plug it. Now, one of the things you don't do is to wait forever to know how to start. As soon as you identify, you should be able to kickstart. The traditional way of doing things is have an elaborate plan of how to start a business, set up everything before you begin to run. It's no longer that way. You start. And when you start, you will realize that you keep building on it. It's going to be a continuous circle of learning, whereby you identify a problem, find the solution, implement it, and evaluate your progress, and continue to refine and re-implement. You see what I mean? So, you see what my example on the wristwatch, it was originally a timekeeper. Then they begin to add other, things that it could do, and it has continued to evolve, and I'm sure it has not finished. Now, the approach is, I read up. So in trying to improve yourself, you need to read. Like I said, I went for MBA program, and that exposed me to a lot of case studies of businesses and how to do things right. So I read a book, The Lean Startup. The Lean Startup is basically what I had talked about earlier, which looked at you starting from where you are. Don't wait until you have everything before you can continue. So the Lean Startup looked at you identifying your niche. What is that problem you want to solve? When you find the gap, when you know that this is a problem, you find the gap in it, specific, small at a time. Don't try to solve all the problem. Yes, you solve one small problem at a time. Then when you find the gap, the real problem, you begin to find the solution. You may start finding the solution little at a time. When you find a small piece of the solution, begin to implement it. When you start implementing it, you will begin to refine the implementation. You're learning as you implement. The world is exploratory in nature, and you will find people who want to learn with you. So when you have learned enough, you evaluate your learning. You will then refine your approach, and you keep improving. And that's the way it works. Now, you may have seen a lot of, approaches that has helped people to build, wealth over time. Some of them are building wealth based on other people's hard work. Yes, they just found a small piece of it that can help. And I will give us another example. I once worked as a food courier driver in Canada. And it was very easy It was an app of, we call it Skip the Dishes. Beautiful name. Now, for that program, you as a driver, you as a person who is ordering the food, you all are making money for the company that developed the app that is servicing both the person ordering and the person delivering, and even the company who is producing the food. This particular innovation boomed so well in Canada. I can't stop thanking God for that opportunity, because it was helping me. So for each order you make, you pay. For each delivery you pick, you also pay. They get some money. This is innovation. There are several innovations that you can do, but you can't do it when you're busy running from pole to pole, hustling from one job to the other. When I learned this, I tell you that what I did was to make sure that I build my skills. I began to identify my area of interest, my niche, and I started working on the problems, providing solutions and refining it over time. And I thought that it will be very interesting that every one of us begin to identify our niche. Now, let me give us a tip. For instance, you may be working in the care sector. I'm a public health person. You may be working in the care sector and you find out that, you run from home to home, working, caring, and then suddenly you turn 60, 70. You won't be able to do that anymore. But let's even say that, do you know that in the developed country, the governments are always looking for people who are able to have homes that can take in the vulnerable population, and the government will be paying you for housing them. I'm just giving some of us tips. This is untapped area that they are still looking for people to work. Let's assume that you have home, or you invested, you bought houses, or you even rented apartment, and you are able to show that you can have these people in the homes and take care of them. You're building business. That's one. And when you build this business, generations after you will be able to ride on it and from it. You will be an employer of labor, and you will not only help the vulnerable population, you will help the government, and you will help people to be able to work under your services. Now, we can also go again to another sector. In the public health sector where I work, this is how I evolved over the years. One would wonder how a public health specialist ended up doing MBA. Because I wanted to, be able to develop businesses, even though in the public health sector. So, first a pharmacist, then public health specialist, then I became a monitoring and evaluation specialist, and then I continue to find the niche in the monitoring and evaluation area of practice. Now, in the area where I am, I'm no longer at the level of data collection. I have been able to move through the ladder, but finding a niche for myself where you don't have so many competitors, but you're also able to create business for yourself that you can rely on even after you're old. Because there are few of you who are able to provide those services. Remember, it's either you're producing, it's a product or service, whichever one. So right now, I'm in the service provision sector. It may be in African setting. Let's talk about, developing world. Maybe you want to go into business, cooking African food. Yeah, many people miss home and they may want African food. There are so many areas you will be able to stand out. So I will not end without encouraging us through the book that I read, the Lean Startup book that was written by Eric Ries. It's such a beautiful book that I will encourage every one of you to grab a copy and read for yourself. The book encourages us to think big, start small. Yes, encourages us to do three things. Think big, start small, and scale up. Don't wait until everything is ready before you start. You start from where you are And trust me, before you know it, you're making waves. I moved all the way from Africa to Canada to US, and I can tell you that it took me just about 6 months to be able to acquire a home in the US. It's a milestone, but that is not what I could have done on a salary. Yeah, one need to develop a niche. Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you up the ladder, and we will all be able to share our testimony. Now I want you to drop your question, your comment in the comment box. Let's share. What have you learned? How have you been able to build wealth? What are the struggles? How can other people learn from you so that together we build a richer community? Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and do subscribe to my channel. I look forward to seeing you in the next exciting video.